Hampton, Virginia. Now, it's funny that you mentioned being like the glass half empty and the all things are possible through God kind of guy, because I was going to ask you, like, when you walked into this job, man, like really blessed athletically. You got guys like Anthony Filliard, and you have the sophomore receivers, Izzard and Anthony, who have been tremendous this season. So, because I was going to ask you, like, did you really believe that when you walked into the situation that you guys would find yourself actually in a position to be competing for the conference or a share of the conference championship?
I mean, what I believed was the fact that if people don't care about how much you know, so they know about how much you care. And what I believe that if players see that you are genuinely interested in who they are as individuals, as a student, you sit down and you talk about what's going on with their families. You talk about, the standards of the team, or go to class, show class, and treat people with dignity and respect. When you talk about those things, young men, and they see that you being genuine with that, then it's been in my experience, they'll run through a wall for you. And so it's a relationship that's been developed. It started early. The older players, they kind of bought in. We brought in about 25 freshmen. 18 of those guys are playing. So we have a mixed group of veterans that have been around. That if we win today, then it'll be more wins than our seniors have had since their time at Howard. So the year's been special. There's been a lot of things that have gone on, for us and for them. And so I'm grateful for that. We're humble, we're hungry, and we look forward to the opportunity to end our regular season on a positive note.
Absolutely. Now, this show originates from Atlanta. And so, I have to make sure I mention the young quarterback, young Kalen Newton, who's passed for over 2,100 yards, rushed for almost 1,000 yards. Now, we always see and hear about, his big brother up there in Carolina. But tell us about this guy, because, of course, we don't get to see Howard on the national on the national stage here in the South. But for those that don't get to see this young man, tell us about not only his work ethic, but his leadership at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's a great young man. He's very grounded. He understands. He comes from a family, a famous brother that's a quarterback in the NFL. But you wouldn't know it if you met him, if you talked to him. We started out as a incoming mid-year freshman. He was able to go through spring practice, and so as we implemented our schemes and systems, he picked things up pretty quickly. And then his athletic ability also shown. So, you earned the job coming out of spring practice and going into to fall camp. He did a good job in taking what he learned and added it to his athletic skills. So I tell you, he's been a guy that's really been a positive fact for us. We have Anthony Filliard that you mentioned. Anthony was a preseason MEAC Offensive Player of the Year. Kyle Anthony, a returning wide receiver who was an all-conference candidate. Izzard, who right now leads the country in yards per catch. So with Calloway being able to be a guy that just wanted to learn and be a sponge and run the style of offense that we have, he just made our offense go. And we're happy to have him. He's a freshman, but he's into his 11th game as a freshman starter. So very happy with what he provides for us, and we look forward for him, playing his best game, hopefully today, to give us a chance to really realize some goals and opportunities.
Absolutely. Now, when you look around the landscape of the MEAC, where every win truly means something, I mean, with no conference championship, every game is the conference championship. Now, as you wrap up your first season at Howard, what are your thoughts on the level of competition within the MEAC?
I mentioned that we had media day before the season. I know a lot of the coaches that are coaching, some of the programs here, and have a lot of respect for them. They're good football coaches. And as I've gone through the season, I've seen coaches coaching really good football teams. And, you can go down a litany of a list of teams and coaches, but it's a very competitive conference. You have to bring your A game, because as you look back, you see different teams can beat anybody. And so, it's a conference that has, like I said, you got a team that had no defeats, going into the last day today, and it's their national recognition of what they've done. So we got Kalen Newton will probably be, hopefully, a freshman All-American, an all-conference player, but there's other players on the team as well. So the competition has been really stiff, but at the same time, we've been competitive enough to really win close games and win a lot of games that's kind of changed the whole trajectory of this program.
Now, wrapping up with Mike London, he is the head football coach of the Howard University Bison. They are in action today versus the Hampton University Pirates. It is the Battle of the Real HU, 1 o'clock kickoff from Hampton, Virginia. Now, as we get ready for today's matchup, a win today could put you in a position to not only win a share of the MEAC, but also put you in position for an at-large selection in the FCS playoffs. But, of course, first things first. So headed into today's matchup, what are some of the things that concern you when you look at Coach Maynor's Pirate squad over there?
Well, obviously, he's done a good job with them in terms of their approach. I mean, they got skilled athletes. They got excellent athletes. You know, it's their last game. It's their senior game. And so I know that, I don't know the significance of this game because, being the first year here, but as I found out the significance of an HBCU homecoming, I found that significant.
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today,
yes,
Coach.
Yeah. But I have a lot of respect for Coach, and his team plays hard. So, it's going to be a battle of, our offense is first in total offense in the MEAC, and their defense is pretty good. Our defense is going to have to outplay their defense when it comes to, putting points or stopping points from getting on the board. So we look forward to a tough, hard-fought contest. Two good coaches, hopefully, two good players. Many players that can make a significant difference. And, like I said, we have a lot we're playing for. 8-1 in the conference, 8-3 overall. I mean, it's been an unbelievable season just to see the things that have happened. Last second, last minute, big wins on the road. It's been really something we're proud of here, and we look forward to trying to close this thing out with a victory today.
Absolutely. He is Mike London, head football coach of the Howard University Bison, in action today versus the Hampton University Pirates. It is the Battle of the Real HU, 1 o'clock kickoff from Hampton, Virginia. Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck in today's contest.
Thanks for having me, and looking forward to talking to you guys again soon.
Absolutely, man. Thanks, Coach.
The HBCU experience lives here. The HBCU Report with Rob Calloway. We'll be right back.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online. For like a year, she couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
HBCU sports fans, you finally have a voice. The HBCU experience lives here. This is the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
All right, and we are back. This is the HBCU Report, back and better than ever. Rob Calloway here. Putting a wrap on today's show. The final segment is underway. Don't forget you can follow us on social media via Instagram and Twitter at HBCU Report. Don't forget, when we're not here, we're there. There is sportsandnewsandbrews.com, your official source of sports, black news, political news, and the latest on your favorite craft beers. Make sure you check us out. What else going on? We have the Division II playoffs getting underway today. We talked about it at the top of the show. We have Virginia State hosting West Georgia. That happens at 1 o'clock today. Then Bowie State is hosting Delta State at 1 o'clock at first round action of what they call the Super Region 2. And so shouts out to the CIAA for getting two teams into the tournament. That's major right there from a conference standpoint. Now, here's something else I want to talk about really quick. Now, I talk about Reggie Barlow being my friend on this show all the time. Last week, had him on the show. Great job. Went out, won the CIAA championship. Right? 19-2 in 2 seasons. This is my boy's record. Now, he ain't just found out how to coach. All right? Let me just go ahead and put that out there. All right? He didn't just find out how to coach. No, he's just been put in a position to succeed. All right? Now, I say that to say this. This week on social media, it's been bananas, all right? Literally, monkeys swinging from trees. Literally. We have this page on Facebook. Concerned alumni of Alabama State University. Okay? Now, usually I see the stuff that goes on, and I'm like, well, none of that pertains to me. So I see this post that says, could Barlow be in the mix for a head coaching position? And I'm like, head coaching position where? Alabama State. Absolutely freaking not. So, of course, I chime in, right? I chime in with the other concerned alumni of Alabama State University. And it's so unbelievable because a lot of times you don't know people on social, don't know these people on social media, and they don't know you. So they have no idea what it is that you do. They have no idea what type of relationships you have. So I posted, Barlow will not come back to Alabama State. Then somebody commented back, well, all of this is all of Barlow's fault. What's Barlow's fault? All he did was become the winningest head coach in Alabama State University history. What's his fault? Oh, well, the reason that we not competing and the reason that we not doing this is all his fault. No, it's not. No, it's not his fault. Do you not understand? And this is how the conversation progressed. Do you not understand that we fired Reggie Barlow in order to bring in the hottest coaching commodity in HBCU football, maybe in all of FCS football, talking about Brian Jenkins, who had won 3 of 4 MEAC titles prior to coming to Alabama State. Now, BJ didn't come to Alabama State and just forget how to coach. Just like Reggie didn't get to Virginia State and just learn how to coach. There was a breakdown in communication somewhere, and I know where it is. It's the Board of Trustees, but nobody wants to address that. Nobody wants to address that. So this is my conversation. Dear Alabama State, oh, mother dear, again, we come to thee. If you want your football team and your athletics to succeed, you need to free yourself of the Board of Trustees. Oh, that rhymed, didn't it? Oh, my God. Like Jesse Jackson, who, by the way, announced this week that he has Parkinson's. And so for those of you that have never heard me talk about Jesse on this show, Jesse Jackson, good friend of mine. And I say that about a lot of people, but actually, Jesse Jackson, good friend of mine. I had the opportunity of actually working for Rainbow Push for maybe about 6 years, I think. And a great guy, you know, despite some of the things people say about him. And I could tell you some stories about him as well. Well, matter of fact, I will. Now, because I'm telling this story, and shouts out to everybody in the chat room, hey, turn this up. I need everybody to turn this up, my Jesse Jackson story. Now, I think I have a pretty good imitation of Jesse, but I'm not going to do that when I tell this story. But, you know, let me see if I can get in character real quick. Hold on. Here we go. This is the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Meet me at the Hyatt. Coming up this weekend in Atlanta, we will be having our Rainbow Push Coalition Conference. Meet me in Atlanta. Okay. Not sure how good that was. But anyway, my Jesse Jackson story is this. And no, Jesse Jackson isn't dead. He was diagnosed this week with Parkinson's. And so I just want to reflect, you know, because you just never know how things are going to turn out with this. All right. So the year is 2006. I'm working for what was then Clear Channel Radio. iHeart is iHeart Radio now, iHeart Media now. I was working at 640 WGST, Atlanta talk radio station. And we used to run Jesse Jackson's show. For those of you that don't know, Jesse Jackson actually has a radio show. Not sure if he still does it, but it was a Sunday morning show, and we used to run it live. Now, the most awesome part about this, and God, I'm going to have to put the parental advisory on this thing now, the explicit, but I know y'all like that stuff. But see, here's what's crazy.